The last time we raced in Spain, we had a photo finish with a last lap pass, and that only involved 6 cars on a very long track in Barcelona. Let's not talk about how I was on the losing end of that photo finish. I'm still a little salty about that one. We welcome everyone to the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus and powered by the Automotive Sports Network. Today we are at the iDriveSim Training Barcelona Bash here on Nitro Circus Twitch. As it's Josh Mertz, alongside me is Cody Erdmann. We have Victor Vallee in the production truck and Charley Daniels down in Twitch land. As I'm going to start out this show, very important note that I'm going to make. I want to give a shout out to Ferris Shifters, one of our partners here at NASA Sim Racing. We had some issues with their deliveries last week on Jason Hook's car, so for sure you want to check them out if you need a shifter for your sim racing endeavors. Facebook.com/Ferris Shifters. Cody, we've been watching practice, and how are you, my friend, and how is this track?
I'm doing great here in the lovely Catalunya Barcelona circuit. Track is kind of new, especially to us here at NASA. It's new to everyone here on the service, but it seems very technical, very tight. It's going to be all about hitting your marks and just getting in a rhythm. You can almost mess up the second corner if you miss the first one a lot, like really easy. Because there's a lot of left-rights or right-lefts. So missing the first corner is really going to make you miss that second corner. So looking forward to seeing how these guys do.
As it utilizes Sector 3 of the Grand Prix track here at Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. As our broadcast today, brought to you by Simracer Coin, the cryptocurrency made by sim racers for sim racers. And our 23 racers will race to own the winner's coin tonight, as we're going to jump into the format in our pre-show, and of course we'll go over it one more time before the heat races begin. So we're going to have 6-lap heat races. Top 2 drivers will advance to the feature race. You have to take the Joker lap once, and we will talk about that a little bit later on. Semifinals, 8 laps. 3 cars from each race will transfer to the final, and you have to take the Joker twice, which results in 10 laps, 12 cars, 2 Jokers. And we've had a bit of controversy through the race week build-up on what's going on with track limits in the Joker, exiting the Joker, if they don't want to hit the pylon, because granted, again, fourth wall breaking. We're in a video game, and the pylon's not solid on the start gantry for whatever reason, so everyone was thinking maybe we should just crash into it, and I said no, that's not a good idea. But this Joker, Cody, a little bit longer, that merge we're gonna have to pay attention to all night.
Yeah, you get a really big run coming in on the guys that are coming out of the Joker with us being on a European track. The European tracks like to have the Jokers be longer laps than unlike most of the American circuits that we have. So it's kind of like when we go running Hell, that track has the same idea where the guys coming out of the Joker has a lot faster speed coming than the guys that are doing the regular circuit. So it's you're gonna have to pay attention on if guys are taking the regular circuit to avoid them.
As we will take a look at the Simracer Coin Drivers Championship after the first round. In Great Britain last week, Sindre Silva, defending champion of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, sits atop the point standings, 5 points ahead of Connor Parisi. Those two had that rivalry last season, all season long. Luke Kraus, Matt Hartley, the 2020A champion, and Magnus Okenhaug in 5th. Josh Edmondson, Kieran Forrest, Philip Kraus, Matt Kingsbury, and Ray Kingsbury round out the top 10. Now, a championship within a championship. The veterans, like myself and Cody, will think of the Privateer Cup from back on the NASCAR 2003 days. We have restarted that with the new name of the Sportsman Cup, presented by KES Industries. Now, this championship is designed for drivers underneath the 2500 iRating on dirt road before the season starts. So, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Ray Kingsbury actually leads that championship by 3 points over David Schofield. It's 17 points to 14 points. And it's a little bit different, Cody. If you can recall the Privateer Cup, we used to score them independently of the Drivers' Championship. Now, you can win the race and get all those points, and your rival could finish 10th, and that's a huge points gap.
Yeah, kind of back in the day we used to have it where just those guys were almost racing themselves, but now that it's sprinkled in, kind of like how the AM and the Pro category is in our GT series on Mondays. So yeah, it's you want to keep a note of like what the guys you're racing against for that championship, but also know of how many points in cars you have in between.
As Constructors Championship presented by iDriveSim Training, also the presenting sponsor or the entitlement sponsor, I should say, of today's race. 10 teams are in that championship, which blows my mind. Jim Beaver Esports ahead of Fiercely Forward. It's 48-36. Ferris Shifters with 35 points, tied with Spark LLM. They are third. And then fifth is the LRL Racing Team with 27. We do have a little bit drop off in cars, Cody, and I know we talked off air before this. I'm thinking week 2 always sees a drop, but this is a new track. Maybe people don't have it. Maybe they're not used to it, anything like that. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely, with it being new, it makes it harder because Brands Hatch is one of them that a lot of people have had the Brands Hatch circuit, and they just added that to this. Barcelona's pretty new to the server in general, and then adding this just past update, or like past season update. So it's a fairly new circuit. A lot of people don't have, especially in the dirt road side, why would I need a road course? Well, now you do. Here's another one.
In true NASA Nitro Circus fashion, I'm going to roast you. You were muffled for that entire comment, so I don't really know what caused that. But
is that better?
Yes. So
okay, sorry. I think I adjusted my mic. I bet.
So from what I was hearing, to repeat for people that did not hear under the muffledness, a lot of people have Brands Hatch. It's a well-used track. Barcelona relatively new to the service, I believe. So couple factors as to why that is a thing. So, Charlie Daniels, I don't know if you're around, but if you are, just a little Twitch update. I know we got a couple people rolling in, but I'm curious to hear the input from Monday night's festivities.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Thanks. Audience is still rolling in over here, but me and You Got the Spot are holding it down. Oh, Teal just rolled in too. Trevor Teal's racing in this, and he's in here chatting it up, so no excuse for everybody else. Yeah, Monday was awesome. I think I said before, these races Mondays and Wednesdays have blew my mind the first week. Second week, solidifying my mind being blown, and now I cannot wait to see how this one goes, guys.
While we have a couple of minutes, let's actually take a look at this Barcelona track. I know we have pre-recorded footage, but let's actually ride on board here. I believe that's John Dipple. No, is that Dan Mack? No, it's Dan Mack. Let's ride on board one of these cars. Victor can decide, and then we'll talk about this track. So if we look at my graphic, let me get myself lined up here as we ride on board Connor Parisi in car number 11. And hopefully he does not go to pit lane. So this final section, very hard to get right, but of course this whole track is, as we slide into the hairpin, and I think Connor's going to make us out to be a liar, but we will see. There's a little Gymkhana action into the new turn 10 that they're going to run on the Grand Prix track. Hopefully he parks it and resets his car so we could actually get a good lap, but let's take a moment here.
I think
as we ride on, actually his teammate Josh Edmondson in the 58. So turns 1 and 2, Cody, very tricky. You clip the curbs there and it could spit you out wrong. You'll notice this is actually dirt, so we won't have asphalt going down there, but very narrow section through the first sector, over the jump, and then down on the Grand Prix track. Very slippery. Grips up very well, of course, over onto the AstroTurf to get all the momentum that you can. Don't hit the pillar, otherwise I'll be upset. Down the kind of back straightaway that's not really a straightaway at all, and into the final couple of corners. That corner off camber, because it does use the Grand Prix track, and that corner is off camber. So it's very, very deceiving, because you think you can carry momentum in, and this whole final little jab here, honestly, as we're on turn 10 again, these guys drifting a little bit, so it makes me sound uninformed and uninterested with my words, but I can't put it into words to describe it. This track, it's just, if I sum it up, it's tricky, difficult, whatever else you want to say.
Yeah, it's like I said in the beginning of the show, it's a very technical track. You got a lot of switchbacks, corner, left, right, especially in that coming in to off the GP course, coming into the final hairpin. You're constantly turning back and forth, and it's almost, it kind of reminds me of that section of the course. Kind of reminds me of Baku for F1, that alleyway that they have.
I could see that.
It kind of reminds me of that, where I don't think you're going to have to let the faster guy go into that, because it is so tight. I don't think you can almost run too wide through there.
As we are finishing up this first session here before we go into the drivers' meeting, and of course these guys are going to be debriefed on the track limits, as hopefully we can get in a wide aerial shot of the track again, just to see and go over a bit of track limits here. So Connor Parisi, we're going to follow him, like Cody was saying, very, I want to say skinny section, very narrow Joker lap here. AstroTurf is track limits. You get down to the corner, AstroTurf is track limits. Don't hit the pillar and don't go onto the sand. And we mentioned that about literally 25 times throughout the race week. The rest of this, these curbs are going to police them. They're going to make you police yourself, because if you hit them wrong, and I recall from testing on this track, those sleeping policemen are in fact actually pretty dangerous, because it will spit you out. And it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if we're going to have a lot of passing here, given the nature, and I'm not trying to say this race is going to be boring, because NASA never is, but the first sector being so narrow, the Joker rotation being a little bit odd, because you're going to have a much better run off the corner. I think the Joker merge is probably going to be the best spot for passing, because the rest of it is relatively low speed.
Yeah, the Joker is definitely going to be a huge strategy point, I think, tonight, with it being so tight and very few passing zones. I'd say there's only maybe 2 or 3 in the entire course. And even though it is a small course, only having 2 or 3 isn't a lot. So you need to make sure you set your guy up for when you are looking to pass, and make sure you execute it. Because if you don't, you may be stuck until a whole nother lap. And with us only doing 6, 8, 10 laps, you don't have a lot of time.
So as we take a look at the Barcelona circuit, we are in the second phase of the pre-qualifying, even though there's no pre-qualifying really that is needed to be done. They've got a couple laps. We go over the drivers' meeting, of course, and we look at this beautiful Barcelona circuit. Remember, welcome everyone to round 2 of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus and powered by the Automotive Sports Network. We are at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya here in Spain, historically known as the Spanish Grand Prix, but of course, naming is all the business here in iRacing. So I recall several races when we raced at the old track on NASCAR 2003 of having photo finishes, and that track had a very Mickey Mouse-like final sector, Cody. I can't believe that I even didn't think about that until now. If you could remember that Barcelona track and that whole final sector.
I don't think I ever raced on it.
I think you actually won there. Fun fact.
I don't think so.
It was like 5 years ago, though. It was part of your championship season. Both of them, actually. You're completely lost. You can't even remember. It's like the Twilight Zone.
No, I honestly don't remember it. Well,
that's okay though.
Let's go dig back up in the archives and see if I do.
As I'm taking a look here just to see throughout, and nobody really pays attention to this session here, but 40.499 for Sindre. His fastest lap was a 40.029. He was considerably faster than his competition, Parisi and Edmondson. Once I stop dying and apparently get whatever's out of my throat, we'll be okay. So I'll actually bring in Victor Vallee here and Charlie Daniels. We'll have a nice little conversation about what I'm not sure. I guess predictions for today's race. Don't all speak at once.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with the dark horse because you go Parisi, you go Silva, sure. I'm gonna go for Edmondson on this one, guys. I think Edmondson has been showing that he's got the heart, and he's looking like he's ready to take home a P1, and so he's my pick for this one.
Yeah, I think that's a very good choice, but honestly, I think the guy who I gotta go with is the guy who finished 5th yesterday, live on Nitro Circus. Of course, that would be Sindre Silva. He has the experience with this track, and he's shown that he can get it done even in the IRX All-Star Series. And I think he even had a better car than 5th. He just got into a little bit of trouble early on as we look at the circuit. It's beautiful, beautifully modeled in iRacing, but I think Sindre Silva will get it done tonight. And Cody?
So I'm going to be slightly biased with the manufacturer, at least, since I do own Sequential Sim Sport and we are a Ford team. But I think who's going to win tonight is going to be Magnus. He was about mid-pack halfway through the session, but like I said last week, once the track rubbered up and really started coming in, like what we're going to see kind of in the final, especially at the end of the final, his times jumped up to third on the charts. So if he can get a good enough start, get out front, and then once the track comes into him with the being in the Ford, I think he could have a good chance of winning this.
As we have a couple minutes until that session goes up, so, and it allows me to go get water so I don't choke and die, we're going to take a look at an encore presentation of the feature race from last week in Brands Hatch. In cyberspace, getting ready to take you through this 12-lap race, 10 cars, 2 jokers. Front row, Connor Parisi, defending champion Sindre Silva, Josh Edmondson, Luke Krause, Ray Kingsbury, Philip Krause, Matt Hartley, Magnus Okenhaug, Jason Hook, David Schofield. I'm running out of time. Getting ready for Great Britain. We go green at Brands Hatch. Off the line, great start for Hartley back in the field. Side by side, Parisi and Silva, championship protagonists from last season, down to turn number 1. Edmondson gets pinched by Hartley, who gets pinched by the 134 of Hook there. Or sorry, that is Krause in the 134. 3 wide on the outside. It looks like it's Hook trying to make something happen. The top 2 love this as everybody else is brawling in the back of the field. Sindre Silva, Connor Parisi, Matt Hartley, Edmondson in 4th. Side by side, Hook and Krause for 5th. Luke Krause, I should say. Off the jump is Kingsbury in the 25, coming back into Schofield in the 27, and 2 cars around. It's Philip Krause and Jason Hook. So the 137 and the 19 make contact. So take them out of the equation, and we know Philip Krause is going to be super angry. Jokering on the first opportunity is nobody. I lied. Magnus Okenhaug on the first lap. Matt Kingsbury jokers as well. At the end of the first lap, I'll catch my breath, but Cody, this is a lot like last season. Sindre Silva ahead of Connor Parisi.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like how F1's been lately. You got the top 2 guys running away, and then the mid-pack has been just pure chaos this first lap. As you got Hartley and Edmondson running P3 and 4, battling for the last spot on the podium. And then you got Luke Krause here in 4th, just right off their coattails.
There's Hartley through turn 4. Edmondson getting close. Luke Krause in the 134. Kieran Forrest, David Schofield. Schofield, nice recovery after crashing with Ray Kingsbury. Magnus Okenhaug, Matt Kingsbury, Ray Kingsbury, Philip Krause, Jason Hook. That's your running order. Is Philip Krause in 10th. We might have missed a car. No, I stand corrected there. We'll wait for timing to refresh. Sindre holds the lead and holds the red plate, and he's trying not to have to edit his car for next week. Inside of Hartley goes Edmondson deep on the brakes and slides it in turn 1. He's going to lose 3rd. He's going to lose 4th. He's going to lose 5th. Maybe even put him back to 6th as he locked it up in turn 1. And that's relatively easy to do, Cody. That's not the first time I've seen it. I've done that move before. You just get too hard on the brakes into Schofield in the hairpin. too hard on the brakes, and it just locks him up.
As he did have good heads-up driving not to go slamming through Hartley there, so give him credit on being a good, responsible driver.
Jokering is the top two. They're not going to let either of them out of their sights. Sindre leads Connor, those two on top of each other. Hartley in the 48. He has not jokered in the 48, nor has Luke Kraus in the 134. I hate to say it, but I think this is a battle for the race lead between these two, and then we're focused on the battle for the podium. Sneaking to the inside of Schofield again as Edmondson tries it again, locked it up. He saved it in turn one, side by side. Schofield holds the spot through turn two. Very hard to get this section right. He's going to over-under him out of turn three. Where have we seen this move before? And Edmondson to the inside, Cody.
As Edmondson gets a good drive, pulling the slider.
Schofield put two tires into the sand trying to get the momentum. He's going to have a better run, I think. Bounced it off the jump. Not going to happen there.
And as we see in the picture, we got Magnus coming up right behind him. And it's Matt as well. Let's see what kind of battle put together.
And Hook gets turned by Kingsbury in the 25. You spin me right round, baby, right round, goes Jason Hook. Saved it. Forrest jokers in the 52 as we take it to the front of the field. Put him ahead of Edmondson still. Hartley has not jokered. Edmondson has not jokered. Kieran Forrest, his strategy's done, so let's keep an eye on the 52 in the next couple of laps as we get close to cross flags here in Great Britain.
As the track's starting to really rubber up, so let's see if Kieran can do something with that Ford being on the nice rubber down track.
As Silva leads Parisi. Is there going to be any alteration in the strategy? Yes, right as I say that, Parisi jokers in car number 11. And you can tell he has practiced this one too many times, and that's not a dig on him. Perfect joker. There's a train of cars behind Kieran Forrest. Edmondson jokers, so does Luke Kraus. We take cross flags for Sindre Silva, and he has only taken one joker. Parisi now has completed his strategy, so this is, I relate to St. Eustache back on the NASCAR 2003 days, because you take your joker, it's a longer lap, you have that momentum. Schofield, we'll get to that point in a minute. Schofield off the road in the 27 and gets hit by Matt Kingsbury in turn two.
I was just about to say, Edmondson put the joker and lost positions to Schofield and Magnus, but Schofield just grabs it in a bit too deep and loses it going into turn one.
But back to that point relatively quickly, I know that's happened to you when you joker on a longer lap. You see the car that you're racing for the lead, you can focus on it, and now we'll see jokers in the 63. He comes out of the joker. Where is Connor? Nowhere close to Sindre Silva.
Sindre's been putting down perfect laps each and every lap here, but Connor has been much worse.
Third for Hartley, fourth for Kraus. As Hook is off the track in the 137, so we have lost him. Let's take a look at our podium so far. Sindre Silva, Connor Parisi, Matt Hartley. Hartley doing a hell of a job in that 48, but he is not jokered and he has no delta over Luke Kraus. Versus Kraus has jokered. We come to 3 laps to go here in Great Britain. And this is the battle between the two championship protagonists from last season, Sindre Silva and Connor Parisi. Fox Gaming and Jim B. Battle all season long. And it was a crazy season last season with Bo Albert debuting, winning 2, having bad luck, and disappearing to the World Championship. And then we have these guys. They are equal on lap time. It was 54.683 to a 54.625. As Hartley in turn 3. Sindre clipped the curb a little bit too much. We'll see if this is going to affect him. As Kraus tried to get by Hartley in turn number 4. Couldn't make it happen there. And Cody, I think he might be pushing too hard. He knows he's going to get this spot.
Yeah, as Hartley's the only one that in the entire top 10 that hasn't completed his jokers. So let's see where that kind of puts him. He's putting a lot of pressure for not a lot of reason. I wonder if he doesn't know his Hartley in the joker here.
Hartley jokers in the 48. Let's see if he will come out ahead of Kraus. I don't think so. He's on the dirt, struggling through the bumps. We swap positions. 48 loses the podium. We put Luke Kraus on the podium in the 134. 2 laps to go, and the gap is shrinking. It's 0.8 of a second. That's a huge gap in a rallycross car, though. Running it wide in turn 4. I tried not to cut you off, but Sindre holding strong. This is going to be a great last 2 laps.
Yes, Connor's starting to put in some really fast laps. The last time he had a 5.14 to Sindre 6.70, so let's see if we can start reeling them in, as we saw Sindre made that mistake going through that corner.
Lap and a half to go here in Great Britain. Sindre Silva currently tied with Dylan Smith for 8th on the wins list with 7 wins. He's trying to get to 8th by himself with 8 wins, and he's got 1 lap to do it. And he's going to try and start this championship off in style. White flag in Great Britain for Sindre Silva. The gap was cut by 0.2 last lap. Parisi trying so hard, and I think that might have sealed it.
As Charley was able to joker as Kieran goes diving up the inside of him as they make contact.
Kieran trying so hard to get the 4th position. Battling with Matt Hartley, the former champion.
Oh, Kieran hits the turtle.
As Sindre Silva trying to make it 3 race wins in a row. He's going to have the final corner and try and hold that red plate. And Connor Parisi gave him a run for his money.
Connor really closed in.
But the Alzheimer's Association flat-out challenge will go to defending champion Sindre Silva. 3 wins in a row and opening the championship in style, beating his championship rival Connor Parisi. Coming home on a podium finish on debut is Luke Kraus in the 134. Matt Hartley will come home in the 4th position. 5th will be Magnus Okenhaug, pipping Kieran Forrest for 6th. Matt Kingsbury in 7th. 8th will be Josh Edmondson after that adversity that he had to overcome. Philip Kraus in 9th. Ray Kingsbury in 10th. 11th, David Schofield. And 12th will be Jason Hook.
I think that's kind of what it went to plan, in my opinion.
As he begins to burn it down, the race winner, that is. Also a guy that was burning it down is Luke Kraus. So we'll see if we can grab him, because I don't think he is in the Discord chat. We'll try and grab him if we can. As we welcome you back to the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya for the iDriveSim training Barcelona Bash for the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge presented by Nitro Circus. We hope you enjoyed the encore presentation of the feature race from last week in Brands Hatch as we get ready to qualify here in Spain. As it's Cody Erdmann alongside me in the commentary cube, I am Josh Mertz, bringing you this coverage for the Automotive Sports Network, Nitro Circus, Twitch, that partnership here. We have Victor Vallee in the production truck, and we have Charlie Daniels in Twitch land, the virtual paddock, virtual grandstands, whatever you would want to say. You can join the conversation, hashtag NASA on Nitro, hashtag NASA Rallycross, or just get really obnoxious in the Twitch chat. I'm sure we would enjoy that. And through our little break that we had, Cody, I discovered that we have won 66% of the races that are hosted at a Spanish track. You've won once, I've won once, and then Joey Bailey beat me by half a car length to win the other.
Yeah, after going back to the our previous broadcasts and stats, yeah, I actually won the inaugural race that we had here. So,
as it was obviously a much different track. As back on the NASCAR 2003 days, we could mod tracks and place them in fictitious areas and all of that fun stuff. But obviously much more realistic is the iRacing simulation, as we're going to go over points once again if you're just joining our coverage here on Nitro Circus Twitch. Let me pull up my notes document. Hopefully I don't lose this one. Oh, look at you, Victor Vallee, as you talk to me in my ear. It's not sweet nothings, it's sweet everything. Sindre Silva, defending champion of the last 2 seasons, will hold the red plate. What's the red plate, you ask if you're new? The windshield banner and the number plate. Just like Monster Energy Supercross, they do that to identify the points leader. Sindre 5 points up on Luke Kraus, Connor Parisi. 5 points up on him in second. Luke Kraus third, 9 back. Then it's Matt Hartley, Magnus Okenhaug, Josh Edmondson, Kieran Forrest, Philip Kraus, Matt Kingsbury, and Ray Kingsbury. We don't have a graphic for it because it's all my fault, and I deserve to get punched. Ray Kingsbury is leading the Sportsman Cup, presented by KES Industries. Sportsman Cup, if you're a veteran of our series, is the Privateer Cup, just renamed. Kingsbury is leading that by 3 points over David Schofield in the 27. And the iDriveSim Training Constructors Championship here in round number 2. Jim Beaver Esports ahead of Fiercely Forward by 12 points. Ferris Shifters 13 back, tied with Spark LLM, LRL Racing Team, Sequential Sim Sport, Dirt Esports, iDriveSim Training, DNF Auto Care, and Nitro Circus DGR, rounding out our Constructors Championship. As practice is done, and I just had the results up on my screen. Let me pull them back up. Connor Parisi, 41.012. Edmondson, 41.142. Sindre, 41.197. And then Philip Kraus, 41.713. But I'll leave off with one more car, and that is Matt Hartley, the 2020 A champion, 42.206, Cody. What is going on?
Yeah, I noticed it in the beginning of the previous session that we had, that the real fast guys that are in the Subarus are a lot quicker in the beginning, but once the track comes in, everyone else kind of catches back up. So definitely be a super dominated race in the beginning, especially with the guys like Connor, Josh, Sindre, and Phil, and Matt. All 5 of them are all in Subarus, so I could see it being a Subaru domination in the beginning, and then I could see the Fords and the Volkswagens coming in later.
As the Manufacturers Championship, and we don't have a graphic or a sponsor for that, it's one of the lesser championships, more so a stat keeping thing for me. Subaru 33 points, Ford 21 points, Volkswagen 18 points. So it certainly helps when you have an obnoxious amount of cars that Subaru has. And it's not like the last couple seasons when Jake Robertson was around in the Volkswagen and in the Ford. I'm not trying to discredit all the guys in those 2 cars, but it's not like you have a heavy hitter. Most of the heavy hitters are in the Subaru. So I would almost say, I mean, I'm the type of person that would always want to do things differently, Cody. Why not jump into one of those cars? If you know the Ford is faster on a gripped up track, why not if you're fast?
Most likely because when we qualify, that we qualify a fresh track, so then you kind of are at a disadvantage if you're in the Ford or the Volkswagen. The Volkswagen is not as hindered, I think, by the fresh track than the Ford is. I think the Ford is about the worst on the fresh track because it is such short wheelbase. With the Subaru, you got that big boat. So,
as our broadcast presented by Simracer Coin tonight, the cryptocurrency made by sim racers for sim racers, and our 23 racers will race to own the winner's coin tonight. As we get ready to go, I'm going to discover how many cars we have. It is 20 cars. I know how to read. As our format for today's race here in Barcelona. So we are in qualifying at this moment in time. It is a 5-minute session, 3 laps. Best lap puts you at your grading position. As in the heat races, 6 laps. Top 2 will transfer. You have to take the Joker once. The semifinals, there's 2 races. 8 laps, the top 3 will transfer, and you have to take the Joker twice. And then the final, 12 cars, 10 laps, 2 Jokers, and something that we haven't even spoke about in the last 30 minutes, the start of this. Because that hairpin, I don't think there's any room to make a mistake. If you sneeze, you're going to go into the fence.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be like a Supercross start. on how some of the Supercross tracks, it's so tight and such a big hairpin that you have a quick run, get through the gears as fast as possible, then brake, hit your mark to get into that tight hairpin. And it's going to be a one-lane fest trying to get through there, so everyone's going to be using up their stuff.
As I cannot wait to get this going. Before we end this qualifying session, Charlie Daniels, what do you got for us?
We've finally got chat, people rolling into chat. They're still a little quiet, but I see the numbers popping up there. And hey, if you're out there, say hey. Let us know who you're here to cheer on, and you know, give us all the emotes for your favorite driver. Someone in chat just said these races are exceeding the promised entertainment value easily. That person was me, because I am stoked for these races to start up. Back to you guys.
As Sindre Silva fastest so far in qualifying over Connor Parisi, Josh Edmondson, Luke Kraus, Philip Kraus. We'll bring up the weather relatively quickly. I know when I brought in Charlie Daniels, we had that graphic queued, and I completely ignored it. Ambient temperature 71 degrees, track temp 99. The wind, it's a little bit blustery with a 10-mile-an-hour wind, but that ambient temp and the cool track, that, not so much for Rallycross, like we talked about last week, but we'll still notice some differences.
Yeah, especially on the pavement side, with the heat and the sun baking on it, it'll definitely affect the grip levels.
As we get ready for the first heat race here in Barcelona, we're going to have Sindre Silva, Luke Kraus, Magnus Okenhaug, David Schofield, Ray Kingsbury, Daniel McDonald, Kieran Forrest, James Watson, and Parker Fleming. What I do want to mention, Parker Fleming, the former 250 SX rider in Monster Energy Supercross. So awesome to see not only pro sim racing drivers, but former professional Supercross riders involved as well. We were hoping to get an interview, but I'll be honest with you, I took a nap and woke up 30 minutes before we were supposed to go. So we didn't have anything planned in true Nitro and NASA fashion.
We will make sure to have that planned here in the coming weeks.
As we get ready for the first heat race here in Barcelona, we're going to see this start and how crazy this is going to be. Not a lot of room, green flag, and it's not a lot of long run. Words are hard, green flag. Sindre leads Kraus, exiting turn 1, sandwiched between Kingsbury and Kraus was Okenhaug. Kraus gets turned, so does Okenhaug in the back of the field. Watson piles in as well. So this is crucial for Sindre, because he's going to pull out and away from the rest of the field. Kieran Forrest on his side, over nearly in the 44. No one takes to the Joker here. I think the rules are going to be like, I want to say Daytona Beach, where they can't Joker right away, but I have to get clarification on that. But Cody, Sindre Silva picking up right where he left off.
Yeah, Sindre got out to a good start, exactly what he needed to do and what he's been doing a lot of lately, getting out front and running away. Luke and Ray, kind of technical alliance partners, are in second and third, so let's see who will battle for that final transfer spot, because I think we all know that Sindre is just going to run away with this.
As we end the first lap here in Barcelona, and Sindre Silva ahead of Luke Kraus. Ray Kingsbury will Joker on his first opportunity. Dan McDonald spins on the Joker entrance there in the 95. So the man from Scotland not having the greatest of days. As Magnus Okenhaug battling with Schofield. And relatively single file right now, but Cody, the car we're going to look at is Kingsbury here. He Jokered, and I don't remember the Delta, but Sindre Silva, 1 minute 9.061, 1 minute 11.349. Granted, that was the first lap time, but we will see what it updates to. But Sindre, I'm watching this, and I am amazed with the 63. He runs a 41.798, Kraus a 42.3, so half a second up. As Schofield and Magnus battle down the field. One Jokering, two Jokering, Parker Fleming and James Watson.
Yeah,
Fleming, huge run exiting the Joker, battling with Schofield. I know you had a moment. He tracks Schofield in Supercross fashion. What a move. He gets nudged there. Magnus gets nudged by Fleming as well in the 434. These three are battling for sixth like it's the win.
Fleming used to being kind of that privateer, smaller guy, having to show exactly what he's made of.
Schofield hit that tire barrier there, Cody, and it's something that we're both familiar with, given the fact that we did race a couple seasons here on iRacing. Those tire barriers, they're annoying, for lack of a word. We remember at Daytona when they had them in the chicane and how awful that was. I want to pay attention really quickly. At the front of the field, Sindre Silva jokered on lap number 3. Luke Kraus has not jokered. I don't think he has. As if we look at the timing, Kraus has not jokered, but he's giving pressure to Sindre Silva in the 63. But it's a longer lap, and like we talked about last week, you usually want to joker immediately with a longer lap when it is that longer lap.
It's honestly, I don't think it's the worst idea, knowing that Luke hasn't jokered and that he will kind of relinquish it. So why not put pressure on him and see if he'll make Sindre make him kind of break under pressure.
Wide there.
So it's not a bad idea. Just kind of apply the pressure and see what may happen. Who knows?
As Kieran Forrest and Magnus Okenhaug battling for 4th. The man from Indiana, the man from Norway. These two in Ford Fiesta. Off the corner, Magnus got a little bit squirrely there. And like we talked about in the open, and I'll try not to beat the dead horse, but single file really through here. Kieran runs it wide in turn 2, side by side. That's not going to work, is it? Oh, it will! Over the jump! Contact again, these two being very respectful.
Honestly. Oh, yeah, and Magnus puts a great move on.
Wow.
The crossovers on each other. And
I can't even put that into words. That was a great move.
Honestly, what this is reminding me of, because our normal tracks are kind of like Supercross track, this is more like arena cross, like full on just banging fenders every corner.
As final corner for Sindre Silva, points leader and defending champion, starting this season off perfectly. He will win Heat 1 in Barcelona, and Luke Kraus will transfer in the 134. And something that I always bring up, there's only been 3 drivers to win the first 2 races of the season. Never has someone won 3 in a row from the beginning. It was Elliot Porterfield, and I just forgot, Marwan Moftah, and then Bo Albert last season. So we will see if Sindre can hold that momentum and break that 9-year-old record. Believe it or not, if it's only 2 races in, but no one has ever broke that. Charlie, what do you got for us as we finish up this heat race?
We've got folks in chat from New York, Texas, Canada, Australia, Washington, all over the country, rooting for all kinds of different drivers. It's getting lively in chat. If you're out there, let us know who you're rooting for and where you're rooting from.
As we get ready for heat number 2, Connor Parisi, Philip Kraus, Matt Hartley, Robbie Larrill, Jason Hook, Marwan Moftah, Trevor Teal. And forgive me, I forgot the other 2 guys. Justin Robichaud. And Nathan Ramsey. So many cars, and it's so hard to keep up. As we get ready to go green in heat number 2, it's a short start. Green flag. Kraus gets a better jump in the first phase. But Connor's going to have the run against Hartley in the 48. And the former champion not playing around as we are bowling in turn 1.
And it's a gigantic Subaru party. Is it?
Robbie Larrill into the tires. 1 car around, it is Trevor Teal. Marwan Moftah involved as well. That's 3 more cars. And Hartley gets hit with karma. But Parisi and Kraus, the top 2. Moftah gets turned by Hartley. And Robichaud in 3rd spot from 8th on the start. Side by side, it's Hartley versus, that's Larrill. Larrill takes the spot. Off the road is Robichaud in the 93. And Larrill has done so much practice here. Takes the spot from Robichaud in the 93.
He went really wide there and just opened the door wide open for him, as he just does it again here.
As Hartley tried to peek to the inside there. That corner, just like the off-cambered corner of the Grand Prix track, very tricky because you think you can carry the momentum, you think there's more banking than that, and then there's not, and then you're plowing way off into the weeds. as Hartley and Robichaud jokered in the 48 and the 93. As Robbie Larill sits in third, but battle up front really heating up here. We're going to see when the laps rotate out. Philip Kraus not letting Connor Parisi get away.
Yeah, I don't know what's kind of gotten into Phil, although like we said last week, someone must have smacked him upside the helmet or something before he got in, because he's driving, keeping up with Connor like Cindere is almost driving. Like, he's running really quick.
Larill will joker in the 213. And in true NASA and Nitro fashion, and yes, Ray Kingsbury, I'm doing this, forgot to add the joker laps officially in the session. So these guys are really driving blind with their strategies, and they have to be consistently reminded to take that joker lap. Because we saw numerous times last week, due to the simulation, you can only set jokers for one amount. So we take one joker in the heat races and two in the final and semifinal. You're going to get penalized and told to take two in the heat race, and we had like 3 people do that.
As we had Kraus joker, so let's see what kind of the delta is here. But 4 seconds roughly is the time difference, so we'll keep that in mind for later in the race.
4.2 seconds from Connor Parisi to Philip Kraus. Philip Kraus, a 4-time champion of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge presented by Nitro Circus. Second on the wins list, we focus on Trevor Teal in the 720. He is battling with Justin Robichaud. Teal off the road in that Subaru.
Oh, as Robichaud gets crossed up.
Oh, in the hairpin. Parisi's jokering out front as we focused on this ordeal. Where is Kraus? Kraus came out ahead, but Parisi had the better run given the longer little straightaway there. So Phil got close, but not close enough. But Parisi drifts through this asphalt corner down into the dirt. One car off the road. It was Nathan Ramsey in the 29. This race isn't over, Cody. We got 1 lap to go, and we know how Phil gets.
Yeah, Phil's putting on a ton of pressure on Connor here. I'm honestly really surprised how much speed Phil's having here. He hasn't shown this really in practice, so I wonder if he's holding kind of something back.
As we always joke about the old guard on NR 2003, and he was one of the later people to join in. He is the car that's not washed up and not a has-been, as he has the pace to take the fight to Connor Parisi. White flag in Barcelona in heat number 2. We have a second between these guys. In this final sector, you can gain so much time. You can also lose so much time as through the chicane, through the hairpin. I don't think Phil's going to be able to get it unless something goes wrong here for Connor.
Definitely, I think we got a dark horse to watch here for the final with Phil. I think we'll have to keep an eye out for him. If he gets a good start, he may be one to steal one away from Connor and Cindere.
Final corner for Connor Parisi. He wins heat 2 ahead of Philip Kraus. They transfer into the feature race as Robbie Larill, Matt Hartley, Jason Hook, Marwan Moftah, Trevor Teal, Justin Robichaud, Nathan Ramsey. That's going to be our running order. On the lower end, as Charley Daniels. Is chat getting riled up or what?
Oh man, it's getting good. We got Cubecast in here who was in Botswana on Monday. Today he's in Guatemala, guys. This guy gets around. Cubecast, of course, is our own Chad Irvine.
I don't know what you're talking about. He says his name is Cube. He says, who's Chad? I'm Cube.
Call him Cube, guys. Call him Cube.
Cube, not Chad. I don't know who Chad is.
No, I don't know either.
Nobody does. That's why he's fleeing from country to country, probably changing his name.
Fair. He was in what, Botswana on Monday?
I believe so. 2 days later, Guatemala, which is same hemisphere, way across the world, though.
I was gonna say, did he swim? You have
Good
to ask.
question.
Let me know at the end of this heat race. Heat 3, thanks to Charley Daniels. Heat 3 in Barcelona. Josh Edmondson, Bodie Cryer, Adam Thomas, John Dipple, Matt Kingsbury, Andrew Howell, Diane Feldman, Seth Rawls, Kyle Short, green flag. Down to turn 1. Way out wide is Bodie Cryer. Take him out of the equation. Edmondson loves this. 1 car, 2 cars around. It's Dipple and one of the Subarus. It was Howell in the 666. In second is Adam Thomas. Third is Matt Kingsbury. What a start for the Dirt Esport boys, but they're going to be battling for that one transfer spot behind Josh Edmondson. As Bodie Cryer, Seth Rawls, Kyle Short, Feldman, Dipple, Howell is the running order as we begin the first lap. Inside of Cryer went Rawls, thought better of it, into the 125 against the 05. As we take a look at these guys, trying to do the switchback once again is Rawls in that Subaru against the other Subaru for the iDriveSim training team, Cody. But let's talk about these Volkswagens. Adam Thomas trying to put pressure on Josh Edmondson.
Yeah, Adam, he was really fast last season. I saw really good signs with him being teammates with him last season. So yeah, he's keeping up here with Josh. Doing a really good job. And he's got his teammate Matt right behind him.
He was the one car not to qualify for the round of Great Britain. So he was the 33rd car, and he did not make it to the track in time. I can't determine if that was a him issue or a series issue. But Thomas getting redemption here in this heat race, sitting in second spot. Cryer all over the back of Matt Kingsbury in the 21. Kingsbury runs it wide, so did Thomas. Cryer smells blood here. He still has a couple spots to make up for a transfer spot, but certainly getting by a car puts you one step closer to the inside of Kingsbury. Nearly nudges him. He did nudge him in turn 2 there.
Oh, his wheel, kind of looking back a little bit farther here, we had Diane kind of half self-spin coming out. She was putting pressure on our GT AM round 1 winner of Seth Rawls. Looking for a little bit of redemption from Monday.
As he did have the worst luck on Monday in the Sports Car Challenge. Cryer jokered, Rawls jokered, Howell and Short, so did Feldman. But the top 3 have not jokered. John Dipple off the road in the 34, so he will go to the semifinal. We know that Adam Thomas has brilliance occasionally. I can't remember what track it was that he was on the podium last season, but he shocked everyone. It was Sonoma, as I get corrected there. So if we look at lap times, 42.753, 43.448 versus Kingsbury, who jokers has to beat out Cryer, and he does on the joker rotation. So we'll put the man from Connecticut still in third. I think Thomas might have burned up his tires here, Cody, as he's losing ground to Edmondson.
Yeah, once that rabbit gets kind of a little bit out away from you, you start really losing how to chase it. So you just kind of get into your rhythm and make laps. Obviously, we know Thomas doesn't really have much pressure, as we got Cryer putting a ton of pressure on Matt. So Thomas is just trying to make laps and make sure he doesn't make a mistake so he can transfer into the final.
And I think these boys are going to joker on the last opportunity, but of course they can make me to sound like a liar. Kingsbury holding station in third position ahead of Cryer. We look at Rawls and Howell battling here. This is for the 5th spot. Rawls way out wide through the hairpin. Howell takes the spot. Rawls couldn't get the momentum. Remember, these all-wheel drive cars, when you spin at least one tire, you will still have an issue. He locks up one of the tires there. So Yokohama not going to have a fun time. And Feldman and Short battling as well. We take the white flag. Edmondson jokers in the 58, and so does Thomas. So this takes out any joker strategy. As Kingsbury and Cryer are so focused on each other, that's not going to change the transfer spots.
No, yeah, them two battling each other is just letting Thomas run away. That may be an idea of what Matt was doing once he saw kind of how the cards fell after the first lap.
And Seth Rawls has crashed battling Andrew Howell in the 6th spot. So the 125 not having a good day. But who is having a good day is Jim Beaver Esports, as they won heat number 2, and we still have a couple corners left. But Josh Edmondson overcame the pressure. Good on Adam Thomas to have a good run. He will transfer through to the final, it looks like. But Edmondson will win Heat 3 here in Barcelona. Transferring is Adam Thomas, so Dirt Esport will be in the feature race, as Matt Kingsbury will hold off Bodie Cryer for third, but granted, third means nothing in the heat races. Cryer, Howell, Rawls, Feldman, Short, and Dipple, the remaining running order. As we take a look, Feldman gets by Rawls there, and Rawls hits the tires again in the 125. And Rawls struggling in that Subaru, loses a spot to Kyle Short as well. And while we have a moment, Charlie Daniels, what's up?
I couldn't get Cube to divulge the secret to how you get from Botswana to Guatemala in that short amount of time without a passport. So we're still working on that. But chat's going wild. We got Trevor Teal in chat saying, "I love getting taken out every race." Hey, you'll get him next time, pal. And lots of people rooting for Edmondson and Teal in chat as well. So chat is picking up, and we love to see it. Thank you, guys.
I can't figure out if we have two. We do have two semifinals, so this is going to be interesting. Ray Kingsbury, Matt Hartley, Magnus Okenhaug, Andrew Howell, Marwan Moftah, David Schofield, Kyle Short, Justin Robichaud, James Watson. 10 cars in 3 spots. They have to go for 8 laps, and 2 jokers. Words are hard. I just woke up from a nap. Green flag. Magnus gets a good start off the first start. So does Hartley. Hartley has to back out into turn number 1. Going wide is Kingsbury in the 21. Pinches Magnus out. Leading is Ray Kingsbury in the 25. And remember, he is the sportsman points leader. And Matt Hartley, not giving any room to anybody, shoves Howell out of the way. His teammate, I might add. 1 car around. It's Robichaud in the 93.
That was a very clean start, as now we're starting to play bumper tag a little bit as Magnus goes around.
Magnus got nudged, and Trevor Teal in game chat says, honestly, no way to avoid it on this go-kart track. Moftah gets hit by Howell in the 666. Magnus to the inside of Howell there, as what a battle through the midfield. As remember, we have the top 3 transfer into this race. Okenhaug and Moftah battling. Moftah with Howell. And we will see the first rotation of the Joker, Ray Kingsbury, Matt Kingsbury. Remember, gentlemen, the last time we saw these guys in a semifinal consolation race, they crashed each other in Charlotte.
Well, I think we have Ray running a little bit faster to run away with this. Got a nice clean track. Then you got Matt in second. Magnus is up to third.
As remember, we do have to take 2 Joker laps here. And I'm worried about the Volkswagen. Granted, the Volkswagen, from what we've seen, grips up better. Magnus in the 26 hit the tires there. Top transfer. Hartley Joker, but he got stuck behind Schofield in the 27. And I saw off monitor, Hartley tried to go to the inside, but there's a wall cutout, that little white wall that cuts out, and Hartley had no room to make the move. Jokering is Kingsbury, it looks like, Matt Kingsbury, that is, in the 21. If we focus, that little wall cutout there is what bit Hartley, because he could not take the fight to Schofield. That made him give up so much time, Cody, because we know Rallycross is a game of inches.
Yeah, and getting pinched in between that, not what Hartley wanted. As now we have Magnus up in the second after Kingsbury jokered, and Kingsbury's got Schofield and Hartley right on his back bumper on the same strategy.
Ray Kingsbury, the one Kingsbury brother that has not won in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus, as Matt Kingsbury won 2020A Wild West. And Ray has gotten so close several times, but has not gotten done. Schofield wide in the Joker, passed by Hartley, who splits Moftah and Schofield. And Hartley showing why he's a champion of the series, getting it done, getting by those two. What a move.
Yeah, playing perfect strategy there for Hartley. Now he gets to try to chase Kingsbury back down and get in that transfer spot. As Hartley runs wide, as Schofield gets into him, Schofield spins.
Backs up into Howell in the 666. So I thought that Hartley was going to go around with that nudge, but it actually hurts Schofield worse. Top 3, it's Ray Kingsbury, Magnus Okenhaug, Matt Kingsbury. I don't think that we've had... Magnus has not jokered, nor has Ray. So strategy-wise, Hartley has taken both of his jokers. Kingsbury, Matt that is, has only taken 1. Howell's only taken 1. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unravels, because the top 2 haven't taken any strategy. And granted, the field's a little bit more spread out. I think Magnus, actually, with this track getting gripped up, and I know I'm stating the most obvious thing, he's faster by 0.3 over Ray here.
Yeah, it's gonna come down.
Howell and Moftaw in the hairpin there. And Howell lets Moftaw through in the 191, the Egyptian with 3 career wins in the series. Jokering is Ray Kingsbury. Jokering is, no, Magnus didn't joker. I wondered how Magnus got ahead of him. So the Norwegian did not joker here as we take lap 6. Now he's got to hope that he can pull away with that faster pace.
Yeah, as we have Harley, he's been running down Matt here and chipping into that lead. We have the top 4 guys within 7 seconds of each other, so if the strategy comes out right, they're all going to be under a blanket on the white flag.
7/10 of a second he was up last lap. Magnus has to joker at least, well, he has to joker both times. We'll see this rotation as we end lap number 6. Magnus will joker in the 26, put Ray Kingsbury back to the lead. Exiting the joker is Magnus Okenhaug. He holds off Matt Kingsbury, who jokers. Hartley, obviously done with his strategy, passes Matt, blocks Kingsbury. Kingsbury deep on the brakes in the 21. Very respectful are these two. They've raced for a couple of wins. When Hartley won in Atlanta that championship season, and when Matt Kingsbury won at Wild West. And now this is the battle for the transfer spot. To the inside goes Kingsbury, but he does not have to joker. His strategy's done. We're going to be focusing on the top 2 here. They are out and away from the rest of the field, Cody. I dare say it, these two are going to be clawed back into their clutches as they both joker.
As also looking by the time he's scoring, Magnus is only 3 seconds as he just comes out of the joker here. So we're going to have 3 cars for the final 2 transfer spots.
We take the white flag here in Barcelona. Ray Kingsbury leads. Magnus Okenhaug second, Hartley third. The joker is unraveled, and Matt Kingsbury has a lot of work to do if he wants to try and make it into this feature race in the final sector. When Moftaw and Howell still battling like crazy for the 5th spot. Schofield trying to get into that battle as well. We focus up front for just a moment as Ray Kingsbury over the jump and through the final couple of corners. 25 is on pace this week, and he's going to make it into the feature race. He wins the C main here in Barcelona ahead of Magnus Okenhaug and Matt Hartley. Is Matt Kingsbury on the outside looking in here in Spain. As Andrew Howell comes home in the 666. What a battle that he had with Marwan Moftaw all race long. David Schofield poked his nose in there as well, as Justin Robichaud, James Watson, and Kyle Short round out our running order.
As like I was saying a little bit ago, the top 4 guys ended up within 4 seconds of each other. So everyone kind of fell back into the clutches of each other, and just how you play the strategy and how well you're able to put laps together.
Charlie, am I hearing that CubeCast is a scientist because he developed teleportation?
We are independently trying to confirm that fact, but that's what our reporting is saying at this time, guys. Turns out Cube can teleport between not just locations in the same spot, but around the world into different time zones. It's a pretty wild fact to find out during a Rallycross stream, but this is where we're at.
As welcome to NASA and Nitro Circus. What a partnership that this is becoming. B main, semifinal B here in Barcelona. Robbie Larill, Kieran Forrest, Bodie Cryer, Jason Hook, Daniel McDonald, Diane Feldman, Trevor Teal, Parker Fleming, Seth Rawls, Nathan Ramsey. Green flag for the final B. Rawls got a wonderful start in the back of the field, had nowhere to go and nothing to do with it. Turned was McDonald off the front bumper of Trevor Teal as we enter the dirt for the first time. Larill leads. Kieran Forrest sneaks to the inside. Much better run for the Indiana native. One in the wall. It was Hook. Side by side, 2 cars. It's Fleming versus Teal, and Teal gets sent in the wall. Another Supercross reference. Seth Rawls into the wall. Gets hit by Feldman. Hit by 1 car there. It is Nathan Ramsey. And they're not.
And I just watched Dan McDonald bicycle up on 2 wheels, bounce off the side of Hook, and then pass him on the inside. This first lap is insane.
Kieran Forrest leads. Robbie Larill second. Bodie Cryer in third. We missed that position change. Words are hard. Larill the inside of Forrest. I was about to say Cryer was battling with Larill.
As Hook and Fleming went around coming out of the final hairpin, or where the start is.
As Kieran Forrest making you proud for Sequential Sim Sport. He jokers on the first opportunity. So Larill McDonald and Cryer do not joker. And Forrest gets turned on the joker by Dipple. And he comes out in front of Trevor Teal.
That's kind of exactly what I was saying earlier in the race. Coming out, you kind of have to pay attention on where cars are on the merge. And unfortunately, you got bit there.
And Fleming came out in front of Nathan Ramsey. Dipple had trouble with Jason Hook. So Larill, Cryer, and now Daniel McDonald are going to be in the top 3. And commentator's curse for Kieran Forrest. I'm taking a look off monitor. You guys pay attention to that. But
as we got Cryer putting pressure on Robbie here for the first place. As Cryer was about a 10th faster that last lap, so let's see what will happen. We got Dan in the Ford in second, with Dipple and Hook battling for the fourth spot. I'm sorry.
Sounds like John Dipple had a jump start in the 34. Black flag was clear, but I'm not sure what race control is going to do about that. Usually you have to jump to the back of the field. Hook hits the tires, trying to chase down Dipple. As the top 2 in Subarus and the third place car in a Ford Fiesta. Larill has not jokered. Cryer does in the 05. McDonald does not as well. Cryer to the inside of McDonald. Plenty of respect and room given between these two drivers. Jason Hook in 5th. Dipple jokers in the 34. Hits the tire barrier there as we still focus on McDonald versus Cryer. McDonald has not jokered. At least it hasn't updated in the 95.
As Fleming just jokered.
And I can't be, I don't know if I could be upset or what if I'm Kieran Forrest, because you know the joker is the merging car's responsibility. Cryer to the inside of McDonald. And Teal was involved as well when Forrest got bounced back into. As speaking of Parker Fleming and Nathan Ramsey, I was flicking through the field taking a look. They both ended up sideways in the hairpin. Diane Feldman in the 84 not having a good race either. Cryer gets by McDonald, who jokered again, I believe. Or jokered for his first time, I should say, in the 95. So now, the top 5 have all taken at least one joker, so now we'll get to see what will happen on this second bit of strategy as we cross halfway that last time around.
As Robbie's got a decent-sized gap back to Cryer, and who also has a decent-sized gap back to McDonald is McDonald here, jokers.
So McDonald's strategy is done. Dipple and Hook are battling for the 4th spot. Hook nudges Dipple out of the way on 2 wheels as they're battling. So if something goes wrong between the top 3, you know these guys are going to fight till the death for a transfer spot. We come to 2 laps to go. McDonald has jokered on both of his occasions, but I think the delta is 4 seconds, so we can write McDonald off for a top 2 spot, but that doesn't matter for him. He only has to finish top 3.
As long as he holds on to where he's at, and the 2 guys behind him, I believe, still have the joker, so I'll give him more of a gap.
Cryer jokers in the 05. Feldman stays out of the way of her teammate. Almost thought that Cryer had a problem, but it was the similarly liveried, say that 5 times fast, car of Diane Feldman. We take 2 laps to go. Robbie Larill still has a joker left, Cody, but he's got a 5.5 second lead over Bodie Cryer.
Yeah, he's been putting down really good laps, kind of dipping, kind of bounce between about 42.8s to 43.2s, kind of right in that ballpark. And that's kind of where a lot of the faster guys were been running, especially at the end of the 3rd heat in the C main. So he's putting down really good laps, being out front with no pressure. You can kind of use this as a good practice session for the final.
He's going to have 1 lap, and he's got to take a joker 1 more time, but that 5.5 second delta, plenty of time. As we update you on the transfer spots, Bodie Cryer, Daniel McDonald, there's nothing really to update. John Dipple getting close, but that's still a huge gap to make up. And what could have been for Kieran Forrest, but once again, merging cars responsibility. And that is from the guy who wrote the original NASA rulebook. So I say that because that's bitten me once or twice. I remember a race back in 2012 that happened. It was in Los Angeles, where we designed the old X Games track on NASCAR 2003, and we had some crashes there. That wasn't a fun time. Robbie Larill had to joker, almost forgot to joker, and he will win the second semifinal, barely over Bodie Cryer in the 05, and Daniel McDonald in the 95 will transfer through. Diane Feldman off the lead lap, Dipple flips it in the 34, and he's gonna pull. I can't remember if it was Colin McRae or Travis Pastrana when they rolled it at the X Games.
So after quick seeing that, kind of light bulb popped in my head. I wonder if not taking the joker on the last lap is actually the smarter strategy plan, because you don't have to worry about that long back straightaway. What we can say is long for this track. The back straightaway, you don't have to worry about having the run all the way down it. So it's almost even more of an advantage to do the regular course coming to the checkers.
As we bring in Victor Vallee, I step away. I'll see you guys in just a couple moments.
Thank you, Josh. And, to go back on what you were saying, Cody, about the final lap there, it definitely is interesting. I personally would take the joker on the final lap just to get that run out. But at the same time, as you saw there with Bodie Cryer almost catching, I think that was our semifinal B winner. And I can't remember who it was. Robbie. Yeah, Robbie there. And thanks for helping me out, guys. Short-term memory loss is not fun. But the thing is, what's the caveat there in that situation? Do you want to have to run off to beat them back to the line? Or do you want the shorter line as almost like a shortcut there on the final lap?
Well, my thought is to almost, when you come to, 2 to go, coming to the white, since that's the start-finish line, coming to the white, take your final joker then, so then you have the run, and then this way, hoping that they take the joker coming to the checkered, that you are able to pit them and just jump them a little bit coming to the line. That's my thought. We kind of had this back, Victor, I don't know if you remember Germany.
Yes.
Although that was the joker on the inside, but it was kind of set up like this, and the race that kind of Josh and I joked about last week, of when Chris Wetz kind of jumped me because I screwed up my strategy play, was me taking it on 3 to go and 2 to go and not coming to the checkered, and Wetz was able just to have an open, clean pass down there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here, of taking that regular course to pass the guy, and then you don't actually physically have to pass him in the corner where you're both door to door. You have an open, clean track to be able to pass the guy.
Yeah, and another thing I was just thinking about when you were talking about that is you don't get the time advantage of the speed in that final back straightaway section if you take the joker on the final lap. That is a very good point that you kind of subconsciously made me think about there. So not only do you get a shortcut on the final lap compared to your rival, but you also get a speed advantage for the final lap of the event. So it definitely checks out and works out better that way. And speaking of things checking out and working out, Charlie, you should be back there in Twitch World, and we'll try to figure out what Cube is up to and how in the world, if he's finally let his secrets go or not about the time travel.
It's teleportation, actually.
Oh, that's right. I got that wrong.
No, it's okay. It's mind blowing, so it's hard to.
Exactly. I can't wrap my mind around that. I just can't think he's smart enough for that.
No secrets being revealed here, guys. It's still a mystery how it happens, and if I can find out any more details, I'll definitely let you know. All I know is I'm still pretty stoked about my pick to win it all, Josh Edmondson. Not going back on that. So I'm checking in with chat now to see if anyone's got any other predictions for us. I think Sindre and Connor are still leading in the popular vote, but I wouldn't count any of these other guys out. This could be anyone's race on a track like this.
Absolutely. And to recap everybody on our picks, Charlie, you picked Josh Edmondson, I picked Sindre Silva, and I believe, Cody, you picked Magnus Okenhog in the Ford Focus, the little car that could, as you see him sliding around there in the little Not sure what part of the track that was, but looks like we're about to... Oh, never mind. We're actually back to pit road for Magnus.
And to tie back onto what Charlie was saying there, Cube, I'm on to you, Dr. Cube.
Dr. Von Cube? Is that what we're going to call him from now on?
I'm thinking more Dr. Cube Strange.
Ooh. I like that one.
Thinking.
I like that one. That's a good way to do that. I still don't know how he's smart enough to figure out time travel and teleportation and all that stuff.
Especially if he hangs around with us so much.
I know. I was gonna say I'm a little bit confused on that one, but hey, you know what? It's always the least likely person to do it is the one who always figures it out. Or at least that's what I think, at least. So, who knows? Maybe that might be the same for the race tonight. And to bring back in the voice of the NASA Rallycross Championship, Josh Mertz. Take it away.
Round number 188 of the championship overall in the second round of the 23rd season of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus and powered by the Automotive Sports Network. As it's Josh Mertz, Cody Erdmann, Victor Vallee, Charlie Daniels in various spaces in cyberspace. Sindre Silva, Connor Parisi, Josh Edmondson. That is our first 3 seeds, and it's a lot like last week in Brands Hatch. Luke Kraus, Philip Kraus, no relation, Adam Thomas, Ray Kingsbury, Robbie Lareau, Magnus Okenhaug, Bodie Cryer, Matt Hartley, and let's see who else there is. Dan McDonald is our 12th seed. 12 cars, 10 laps, 2 jokers, and glad you could join us here on the Automotive Sports Network, powered by Nitro Circus, otherwise the other way around. Hopefully, Charlie Daniels won't kill me as we get ready to go green in Barcelona. Green flag, Sindre Silva off the line, battling with Parisi just like last week. On the outside is Kraus. Over is Thomas in the 625 in the Volkswagen as Luke Kraus got shoved out wide in the 134. Take him out of the 3rd spot, put him back into 5th as we have a couple nudges back in the back of the field, but Connor Parisi and Sindre Silva getting close. Philip Kraus and Josh Edmondson 3rd and 4th through the hairpin to begin the first lap of the race. Single file. Lareau nudges Okenhaug, who nudges himself into the tire barrier. And it's calmed down as we get close to the final sector. Sindre Silva trying to pull away, but Connor's right there, and we see it again today in Barcelona, Cody.
Yeah, as we got these 2 guys, it's round 2 of them 2 running away, but now we have our 3rd contender of Philip Kraus. Like I said, if he gets a good start, he can keep up with these guys and put a ton of pressure on them like he is.
And second all-time on the wins list and a 4-time champion, Philip Kraus, in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus. No jokers here. Connor got really close.
As he definitely knows what he's doing, as Ray is the first one to joker here for this lap.
So look at the 25 of Ray Kingsbury. He's going to get a little bit clearer track compared to what he had. And I just can't keep my eyes off of this lead battle. Those 2 are all over each other. Connor, I think, is faster in this this middle sector here. Opens the door for Connor, does Sindre in the 63. And remember, Sindre Silva does not run car number 1 on his defending champion seasons. The last car to do that was Philip Kraus back in 2017C. So I don't think he ran car number 1 that season. As these 2 battling to the death as we begin lap number 3 here in Barcelona. These 2 have not jokered, nor has Philip Kraus, I don't think. Nobody has. Luke Kraus has, as he's battling with Daniel McDonald, who has not jokered in the back of the field, and Kingsbury has completed his strategy. So keep an eye on the 25. We'll see where he will come out in relation to these 2 battling. Robbie Lareau back behind the 25. He locked up the brakes pretty bad in that Subaru.
With these 2 battling nose to tail like they are, do you think we're going to have a little bit of bumper action, a little chrome horn, bump and run action like we possibly could have coming here to the end?
You'd have to think that it's going to be possible with these guys being all over each other. Lap time 41.9 to a 42 flat. Jokering is Magnus, and jokering is Edmondson, I believe. And Magnus gets turned by Ray Kingsbury on the joker merge. So Magnus out of the equation. Unfortunate for him. Luke Kraus, I apologize. That was the car that I think completed his strategy. Those cars look so familiar, so close, I should say. to the Jim Beaver Esports cars. It's Sindre Silva, Connor Parisi, Philip Kraus, Edmondson, McDonald, who pipped Luke Kraus on the Joker rotation, but McDonald has not taken both of his Jokers, I don't think. I don't think he's taken any Jokers at all. We'll see when this updates here. He has to Joker for the first time. Parisi has Jokered on his first bit of strategy. Sindre has not. Philip Kraus has not, but Connor is stuck behind Philip Kraus now.
I wonder if this was kind of a unplanned idea, or
Edmondson into the tires. So the 58 who was running in fourth,
as he's still yet to turn around. Now start to do as Luke Kraus gets by him.
Sindre still hasn't Jokered. We haven't missed anything there. Will Philip Kraus Joker? No. Connor's not going to Joker again.
As Ray Kingsbury also got in front of Edmondson, so he fell way back from that.
Of course, I'm not supposed to couch analyze strategy, but I would have Jokered right there if I was Parisi. To be perfectly honest, you're going to be stuck behind Phil, which not discrediting Phil at all, but you want to get that clear track like we've hammered home so many different times, and it's not going to help him.
And actually, that last lap, Connor was a half a second fast.
Oh, we did notice that. 41.5 to a 42 flat. Phil was a 42.3. Sindre Jokers on his first strategy opportunity, or for his first strategy, I should say. Joker rotation, Sindre holds it. And that's a big gap. I think he might have lost time.
Yeah, as he had a Connor that last lap at a 42.3, so a couple tenths slower. If he was down in the 41s like they were running, I think this may be a little bit different. So maybe being stuck behind Phil wasn't as good as what we thought.
Jokering was Cryer and Edmondson in the back of the field. They're battling for the lower positions. Sindre Silva clobbering that curb, entering turn number 2. We're going to look at the lap time rotation here, Cody. But it might be a Sindre Silva show all over again, but he still has a Joker left as we take 3 laps to go.
There's a 41.1 to a 42.1, although Sindre did have the speed coming out of the Joker for that lap, so I think that's where the speed was from.
41.8 for Philip Kraus that last lap. He sits in third. Luke Kraus is in fourth. Phil has not taken his other Joker yet, so we'll see what will happen with the Canadian.
Luke has, but he's about 6 seconds behind, so I don't think Phil's Joker will help him.
We will see what happens. Sindre's going to blink first. Connor is going to not Joker, so put Connor into the race lead. Sindre Jokers, 2 laps to go in Barcelona. Philip Kraus Jokers as well in the 19, and he stays ahead of Luke Kraus. So this is going to be the battle for the race lead and the race win. Can Connor Parisi hold off Sindre Silva, or can he force Silva into a mistake?
Sindre here has been really using a lot of those sleeping policemen.
It's Phil wide in the hairpin, but he holds the spot. The wider line must work very well. If I was Connor, I would almost take the Joker on the last lap to make sure you can get that more momentum, but we don't know. He's going to Joker now. Where is Sindre? Sindre rounding the corner. Connor comes out of the Joker. That gap is huge. White flag in Barcelona.
As Sindre put in amazing laps here to be able to pull out this lead on Connor.
As we might be seeing another victory from Sindre Silva, and if he can hold it off for these last couple of corners, he's going to make 4 wins in a row over the last 2 seasons. He's going to join Bo Albert, Elliot Porterfield, and I can't believe that I'm forgetting Marwan Moftah as a driver to win the first 2 rounds of the championship. Opens his points lead even further as he wins in Spain ahead of Connor Parisi. Philip Kraus comes home on the pole.
I was just about to say there, as Philip Kraus gets on the podium, Luke Kraus in 4th.
Lorel Jokers gets passed by McDonald. McDonald will come home in the 7th spot. Cryer 8th, 9th Lorel, 10th Oak.
Yep. Lorel gets. Looking at the quick thing.
Lorel's 9th, yeah.
Oakenhog 10th.
Oh,
11th.
Edmondson is fuming at Oakenhog, nudged him completely out of the way.
So we'll go ahead and take a look at that real quick if we can.
Yeah, them two were a lot higher than they were. Especially Edmondson, he dropped really far.
So this was right at the end of the race, so it was before this. We'll see what happened here. I don't think we're going to be able to see a replay of it. Actually, there it is. Looks like it's going to happen sometime around here, possibly. But I don't see it on the replay at all. But that'll be something we see later on. But nevertheless, Josh, hopefully your connection has resolved itself here, and we can go ahead and talk to our top 3. Yes.
You were in and out, yeah.
Yes, you were
thank you,
in
Comcast.
and out. So
Thank you, Comcast. Excellent.
That's why I started talking randomly when you were talking, is because you were cut off.
I was wondering
why
I was stuttering.
That is a classic iRacing Nitro Circus and NASA moment right there, I believe.
So we gotta finish it off right.
Yeah. And so.
Well, let's grab in our top 3. I'll try and get an interview with this guy named Philip Kraus before my internet decides to die again. So
yeah, that'd be.
Let me go find him.
Good idea. I do see him. I don't have permission to move him up, but you'll have to do that for me. And there he is.
Hey, you're supposed to be washed up and a has-been. What are you doing on the podium?
Going slow in the 2 WTS, guys. What are y'all doing up here?
Oh, well, I'm having Comcast issues and blew my finish call. But, you know, I thought you were going to hold on. I thought you were going to maybe steal that heat win earlier and maybe challenge them. How's the mind of Philip Kraus doing right now?
Just one fat vibe, to be honest. Because that whole feature, I was just kind of by myself, just chilling, watching, Connor and Sindre pull me like 3-4 tenths a lap, getting a little sad, then looking behind and seeing that I'm pulling other people by 3-4 tenths a lap, getting kind of happy, and ended up 3rd.
I don't even have like anything else to ask. I mean, we've talked about throughout the show how the track is a lot like a street circuit. It's kind of stop, kind of go, really narrow. Would you agree with that, or what's your opinion of this track?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really stop and go, and that's why you probably saw so many incidents today. Because obviously the start, you go straight into a really tight hairpin, and everyone's trying to fight for the inside. And if you're on the outside, I was saying it to Ray before we started, if you're on the outside, you're screwed, because there's a good chance they're going to crash on your inside. And when you're on the outside, good luck avoiding that, But it seemed like the feature start was a lot cleaner than the heats, because the heats were really messy. The LCQs cleaned up a bit, and then it looked like in the final there was only one little incident into turn 1, which is really nice to see considering the nature of the track,
As before we let you go, do you have any partners to thank, anything like that before you go?
Spark's pretty cool. They got a big fat logo on my car. Just give them a look.
All right, my friend. Well, good run, despite being sad yet happy. And hopefully we will see you next week in Norway.
Yeah, thank you.
And we bring in Connor Parisi, second place man, Cody Erdmann.
Why, hello, Connor, again for the second week in a row, and unfortunately the same step of the podium.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
Sorry. Unfortunately, with me being the second guy in the booth, it's what I have to deal with, unfortunately. But great race on your part. You're battling with Sindre the entire time. It was pretty much you two being the class of the field the whole race. You did have Phil kind of battling with you guys. What did you think of that, with kind of having to play offense but also defense with having Phil and Sindre in front and behind you?
Yeah, I had a suboptimal Joker strategy. It was a little tough this week to see who jokered and who didn't, and the deltas were a little unclear. So I sent it, knowing I had to do something different than Sindre. And I think I did it a couple laps too soon. Came in right between Josh and Phil, and that cost me probably a good half a second to a second. So I knew then I was playing catch up from there. So it was kind of suboptimal on my end.
And I made a comment to Josh about halfway through the race, but I think just because how the Jokers played out, you didn't really have a chance for it. But I noticed in the beginning you were really on Sindra's bumper. Were you thinking if it came to the end that you may have to use your front bumper to kind of just nudge him out of the way, give yourself a little bit of track to get underneath him and pass him?
We were in the Discord together joking, about bump and runs and how much elbows we'd put out on each other. And honestly, I would give him a little bumperoni for the win, but didn't quite get down to that. So good win to him.
Well, put on another great, amazing show this week. Anyone you'd like to thank?
Got to thank the whole Jim Beaver esports squad. Fistful of bourbon. It's not just a bourbon; it's a damn fistful. Polaris Razor, the Motorsports Drop, Dirtfish Rally School, and a big thanks to you guys for putting on the show. Oh, and Nitro Circus. How cool is it? Nitro Circus is here.
Yeah. Well, and next week we're to the track that I think we would both agree that unfortunately affected the championship outcome. So hopefully you have a better result and give you a better chance of winning the title this season.
Was it Atlanta next week?
We go to Norway.
Norway was where you had your connection problem.
Yeah, I think I have some unfinished business there.
Yes, so good luck to next week and the rest of the season.
Thanks, fellas.
And that was Connor Parisi, who finished second. And Josh, if you can do the honors of bringing Sindre Silva in here. Actually, there he is already. All right, Sindre, my man. I picked you to win. I picked you to win on the broadcast. You didn't let me down, man. I knew you were going to do it. Tell us about that result, man. Good job.
Yeah, it was a nice result. It's what I need to get the gaps. So when we are driving those new tracks, I have spent a lot of time practicing those before the Pro Q and stuff. So I know I have the speed, but I need to practice more the used track as well, because I know Connor has more experience in those tracks. So we just need to push and like we did today.
Yeah, and I know Connor just mentioned it about his Joker strategy and how it did not play out for him. When you saw him Joker and come out behind Phil, did you think at that point you were like, all right, awesome, this is going to work out really well for me? Or were you still just on it and just trying to push even more to try to continue to build that gap?
So it was actually hard because I didn't know anything about the Joker at all, because we had some server issues. So I didn't know how many Jokers had been taken and things like that. So actually I thought Connor jumped me when I did my second Joker there. So I thought I was going in P2 there, but he went into Joker. So yeah, it is hard to see when you don't have those delta times and see how many people that have taken 2 Jokers and things like that. But I just pushed what I had every lap. I had some computer issues, so I was down at I think 20 FPS in some of the corners and stuff. So it was a little struggle, but we managed to get the P1, so I'm happy.
Yeah, and one more thing before I ask you who to thank. I know yesterday you were running the iRacing All-Stars, the IRX All-Star Rallycross here. How much of a help was that for you to run against other drivers and just get that competition experience?
So it was a valuable thing for sure. Having a little bit more experience driving with others on the track, and it's the best of the best people that you can race with in the world on iRacing Rallycross. So having that competition for sure helped a lot, but we were driving with the default setups. We didn't do that today, so it was a big difference in one way. We don't have same gearing and things like that, so it was something to get used to for sure. So I spent I think 2 hours or something doing some few laps before this race. I think that helped more than racing the All-Star race yesterday.
Well, of course, as I just said, who do you have to thank, man? As I say, you always put on a good show for us.
I want to thank Fox Gaming for awesome support and a good car. They have delivered an awesome car in both the All-Star Invitational races and NASA here. I want to thank our sponsors, Power, Erskog Sparbank, Nocco, Adidas, and Fjordfjell for awesome support throughout the season.
Well, thank you so much, Sindre, and can't wait to see you next week in your home race in Norway.
Thank you, guys.
Before I let you go, Sindre, I just want to let you know, and I don't know if you're a stats guy, but you won the last 2 races of last season. You've won the first 2 races of this season. You're the 4th guy to win the first 2 races. Are you, dumb question, are you just going to keep pushing forward to try and break that long-standing record of someone not being able to win 3 in a row from the beginning?
So I know, or I didn't know, I knew now that the hell is the next track. It's not my strongest, even though it's my home track. It's not my strongest track. I think Connor has more pace than me there, so I think I want to push down some few extra laps before the next week. Yeah, we will see. Connor can have a bad day as he had that hell last time, so we will see.
Alrighty, buddy. Good run, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
As Charlie Daniels, Twitch Land, give us a recap.
We've got Kieran Forrest and Trevor Teal in Twitch chat talking about putting on a big show next week. It sounds a little ominous, but I guarantee you these 2 guys drive clean, so I can't wait to see what they bring. Also, just want to give a real quick thank you to the 49er Miner cheering 1 bit. Look, it's just 1 bit, but we'll take everything we can get. All the support helps. Everyone in chat, everyone following, everyone subbing, thank you all so much. We couldn't be here without you guys, so just want to give a shout out to the fans in chat, and can't wait for next week. Even though my pick this week did not make the top 3 like I had hoped, I'm still going to be rooting for Edmondson into next week because I feel like he's got it in him. So that's he's gonna be my horse for this season, guys. I'm just laying it out there right now. I know that no one asked, but we're Edmondson fans over here. So yeah, can't wait to see how next week goes.
And Cody?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of what we expected. A lot of chaos in the beginning. This is kind of the tightness of how this circuit is. Like how Josh said, it's about kind of like a street circuit, but with dirt and jumps. So definitely what we expected. The final was a lot cleaner in the beginning than I kind of thought we would have, but now we're on to Norway. One track that I know a lot of these guys have a ton of laps at, and it almost kind of the same feel, a little bit more wide open, real short lap times though, so be a quick, fast-paced race and make sure to hit all your marks. Looking forward to next week.
And Victor.
Oh gosh, I don't know really what to say here. I know Cody just mentioned how clean of a start it was in the feature, but I gotta tell you guys, the biggest thing about these starts in the feature is this is the best of the best guys. So of course it's gonna be a little bit better off and cleaner than almost any other part of the track in weekend, or well, technically it's a night for us. So I think that's a little bit of the reason why it's so clean. But once again, it never feels like I'm like able to put the words together to tell you how exciting this racing always turns out to be. And Josh, it's always great to be here on Nitro Circus as well.
As after the second round of the championship, unofficially, Sindre Silva 66 points ahead of Connor Parisi with 56, Luke Kraus 47, Philip Kraus 41, Matt Hartley with 42 for Phil, 41 for Matt Hartley. So first 2 rounds of the championship are done and dusted, and it just gets better from here. Programming note: for the Penguin RC Simulation Sports Car Challenge, we are off next Monday, so enjoy your Monday night. We'll be back here on Nitro Circus Twitch for the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge presented by Nitro Circus, powered by the Automotive Sports Network. The Hell on Wheels Spectacular by iDriveSim Training in Longfanen in Norway. As I, of course, become unprepared as I always are, Charlie Daniels, is Nitro Circus League running next week?
I believe next week we have another IRX invitational, All-Star Invitational, and champion or Pro Driver Series. But the best way for everyone to keep it up to speed on when all the streams are is to follow us on Discord, which I'll throw the links in chat right now, because I'm the absolute worst at remembering dates and times of anything ever.
As for all of us, for all of you that are on the Nitro Circus Twitch, or even if you have tuned in on the Automotive Sports Network on demand, you can join in on the fun here at NASA Sim Racing. I had a couple people ask last week. nasadiscord.tk. That's a dedicated link. It'll pop you right into the Discord. You can come hang out, join us, whatever it may be. From all of us here at Nitro Circus and the Automotive Sports Network and NASA Sim Racing, we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the iDriveSim Training Barcelona Bash from Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. Be sure to join us next week in Norway for the Hell on Wheels Spectacular. But from Cody Erdmann, Victor Vallee, Charley Daniels, and all the staff at NASA Sim Racing and Nitro Circus, I am Josh Mertz, and we will see you next week. But until then, so long, everyone.